England, a country rich in history, opportunity, and dreams, has long been a favorite destination for immigrants from around the globe. But things are changing. The UK is now seeing an extraordinary exodus, with immigrants leaving in record numbers. Why is this happening? What's causing people to pack up and move back to their home countries or start fresh somewhere else? In today's video, we'll uncover the real reasons behind this growing migration trend. Stay with us until the end. You might be surprised by what we reveal. Let's begin with the most pressing issue: the cost of living. For immigrants arriving in England, this is often their first and most overwhelming challenge. While dreams of a comfortable life may have drawn them to the UK, the harsh reality of rising expenses quickly takes over. The Guardian stated that housing is the biggest hurdle. The average cost of a home in the UK has climbed to over £290,000. If you're looking at London, brace yourself, prices exceed £500,000 for even modest properties. Imagine moving to a new country only to realize that owning a home is almost an impossible dream. For many immigrants, renting isn't much better. In London, rents now average £2,000 a month. In cities like Birmingham and Manchester, rents have risen by a staggering 10 to 15% in just a single year. But it's not just about housing. The ripple effects of high living costs extend to every corner of life. Groceries, utilities, transportation, all these essentials come with a hefty price tag. Immigrants often work in lower-paying jobs, making it even harder to manage these mounting expenses. Families are left juggling basic needs, and for some, the numbers simply don't add up. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, constantly stressed about making ends meet, it's no surprise that many start looking for better options elsewhere. The dream of financial stability turns into a harsh lesson in survival. If the housing crisis wasn't enough, inflation is making everyday life even more unaffordable. Over the past year, grocery prices have risen by a shocking 13%. Basic items like bread, milk, and eggs have become luxuries for many families. The weekly shop, once manageable, now feels like a financial burden. From the viewpoint of energy and climate intelligence, energy prices are another crushing weight. Did you know that the UK has some of the highest energy costs in Europe? For many households, heating during the cold months is a struggle. Some families are forced to ration their energy use just to keep their bills manageable. Add to this the soaring cost of petrol, and even commuting becomes a financial strain. Immigrants often find themselves stuck in low-wage roles, which means every penny counts. But with inflation eroding the value of their earnings, stretching each paycheck becomes a constant challenge. Simple pleasures like an occasional meal out or a small treat for the kids are often out of reach. The question many immigrants ask themselves is heartbreaking. Is this life sustainable? For many, the answer is no, and that's why so many are choosing to leave. The cost of living isn't the only challenge. Let's talk about something less tangible but just as powerful: the political climate. England, once known for its multiculturalism, is grappling with a noticeable shift in its national mood. As reported by Sage Journal, the aftermath of Brexit has left deep scars. Public debates about immigration and national identity have fueled tension, with some areas seeing rising hostility toward immigrants. For those who came to England seeking inclusion and opportunity, this shift can feel like a betrayal. Immigration policies have also become strict. Long-term residents find it increasingly difficult to renew visas, and the government's focus on tighter immigration controls adds to the uncertainty. Imagine living in a country where you're constantly worried about your legal status, where every year brings a fresh wave of anxiety about whether you'll be allowed to stay. It's not just about policies, it's about feeling unwelcome. When the place you've called home starts to feel like it's pushing you away, it's only natural to consider leaving. And for many immigrants, that's exactly what's happening. The pandemic changed the world in ways we're still trying to understand, and for immigrants in England, its impact was especially harsh. COVID-19 brought not only health challenges, but also economic devastation. BBC noted that industries like hospitality, retail, and tourism, sectors that rely heavily on immigrant workers, were hit the hardest. As businesses shut down or scaled back, countless jobs were lost, Even those who managed to keep their jobs often faced reduced hours or pay cuts. While the government introduced furlough schemes to support workers, these didn't always cover everyone. Immigrants without permanent contracts or official documentation were often left out, forcing them to rely on savings or take on debt. The emotional toll was just as significant. Isolation during lockdowns, financial stress, and uncertainty about the future pushed many immigrants to their breaking point. For families far from their support networks, the challenges felt insurmountable. Leaving England wasn't just a financial decision, it was also a way to regain emotional stability. For many, the chance to start fresh in a more stable environment was too good to pass up. Education is one of the biggest motivators for immigration. Parents often move to give their children better opportunities, and England has long been home to some of the best schools and universities in the world. But today, the dream of education is becoming increasingly out of reach for many immigrant families. According to the BBC, the university tuition fees in England are among the highest in Europe. For students who don't qualify for financial aid, the cost of higher education is daunting. But it's not just about universities. The rising cost of childcare and primary education is another barrier. Working-class immigrant families often find themselves priced out of the very opportunities they moved to England to pursue. The frustration is real. Imagine working tirelessly to give your children a better future, only to realize that the education system is slipping beyond your grasp. The reality has driven many families to look elsewhere, places where education is more affordable and accessible. For immigrants, the dream of a better life isn't just about survival, it's about providing for the next generation. When that dream starts to feel unattainable, it's no wonder so many are choosing to leave. Before we move on, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you or someone you know faced these challenges? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content like this. Remember, there's a bonus waiting for you at the end of this video, so stay tuned. Despite the struggles immigrants face in England, many are finding a silver lining by looking beyond its borders. A growing number of countries, such as Portugal, Germany, Canada, and Australia, are becoming attractive destinations for those seeking a better quality of life. These nations offer a mix of affordability, inclusivity, and opportunities that are difficult to find in England's current climate. Take Portugal, for example. Known for its warm climate and welcoming culture, Portugal boasts a significantly lower cost of living compared to England. Housing is more affordable, and the country actively promotes immigrant integration through simplified visa processes and community support systems. Similarly, Germany has built a reputation for its robust economy and immigrant-friendly policies. The country provides access to free language courses, streamlined pathways to citizenship, and strong labor protections that attract skilled workers and families alike. Can Approve revealed that as a longtime favorite for immigrants, Canada continues to shine with its multicultural society and high quality of life. Affordable education, universal health care, and a growing job market make it an ideal destination for those looking to rebuild their dreams. Australia offers similar benefits with a booming economy, sunny weather, and numerous job opportunities in fields ranging from healthcare to technology. For many immigrants, moving isn't just about escaping the challenges of England. It's about embracing the chance to thrive elsewhere. Whether it's returning to their home country or starting fresh in a new land, these individuals are finding ways to turn adversity into opportunity. Their journeys are not about giving up. They're about moving forward. Healthcare is another critical factor pushing immigrants to leave England. CNN noted that the National Health Service, NHS, once a crown jewel of the country, is now struggling under immense pressure. Years of underfunding, coupled with rising demand, have left the system overwhelmed and unable to meet the needs of its growing population. For immigrants, accessing timely and quality healthcare has become increasingly difficult. Long waiting times for appointments are now the norm, with some patients waiting months for routine care or specialist consultations. For families with young children, elderly members, or chronic health issues, these delays can have serious consequences. Private healthcare exists as an alternative, but it's out of reach for most immigrants due to its high costs. Immigrants working in low-paying jobs often don't have the financial means to consider this option, leaving them reliant on a strained public system. The challenges go beyond logistics. Language barriers, unfamiliarity with the healthcare system, and cultural differences can make navigating medical care daunting for immigrants. Many report feeling overlooked or misunderstood during critical medical situations, further amplifying their sense of exclusion. Healthcare is fundamental to a good quality of life. When a country's healthcare system begins to falter, it can deeply affect the well-being of its residents. For many immigrants, this has become a breaking point, prompting them to seek better healthcare options elsewhere. Employment has always been a key driver for immigration. Many people move to England with the hope of finding stable jobs that allow them to support their families and achieve their goals. However, in recent years, the job market in England has become increasingly challenging for immigrants. One of the major issues is job insecurity. Immigrants often find themselves in temporary or low-paying roles, even if they hold advanced qualifications or professional experience. Fields like hospitality, retail, and manual labor, which have historically relied on immigrant workers, have seen significant declines due to economic downturns and the rise of automation. This has left many immigrants struggling to find consistent employment. Work visa policies have also become a barrier. The government's stricter immigration controls mean that securing or renewing a work visa is often a long and stressful process. Employers are less willing to hire immigrants due to the administrative hurdles involved, further reducing job prospects. Even those with stable jobs face challenges like wage stagnation and limited career advancement. For many immigrants, the promise of upward mobility, the idea that hard work will lead to better opportunities, feels increasingly out of reach. This has prompted many to consider relocating to countries with stronger job markets and more supportive employment policies. The emotional toll of job insecurity cannot be overstated. For immigrants, leaving England often feels less like giving up and more like choosing a path where their skills and efforts are better recognized and rewarded. Social integration, or the lack thereof, is another critical factor influencing immigrants' decisions to leave England. For decades, the country was celebrated as a melting pot of cultures where people from all walks of life could coexist. However, the cracks in this narrative are becoming increasingly visible. As stated by the Migration Observatory, the rise of nationalist sentiment and anti-immigrant rhetoric has created an unwelcoming environment for many immigrants. Brexit, in particular, has exacerbated tensions around immigration. Public discourse often frames immigrants as burdens rather than contributors, making many feel alienated. Acts of discrimination and racism, both overt and subtle, are on the rise. These experiences can be deeply isolating for immigrants, who often feel like they're walking on eggshells just to avoid confrontation. The sense of being an outsider, even after years of living in England, takes an emotional toll. Language barriers and cultural differences can further complicate social integration. While many immigrants speak English, nuances in communication and cultural expectations can lead to misunderstandings. Without strong support networks or community connections, navigating life in a foreign country becomes even harder. Social integration isn't just about fitting in, it's about feeling valued and included. When immigrants start to feel excluded from the society they've worked hard to be a part of, it's only natural for them to consider leaving. Finally, let's talk about one of the most personal and powerful reasons immigrants leave England: the pull of family and community ties. For many, the desire to be close to loved ones outweighs the benefits of staying in a foreign country. Data from PubMed shows that the COVID-19 pandemic was a stark reminder of how important family and community are. Travel restrictions and lockdowns made it nearly impossible for immigrants to visit their families, creating a sense of isolation that many found unbearable. The distance from home felt more profound than ever, prompting some to make the difficult decision to leave England for good. For others, returning home isn't about failure, it's about reclaiming a sense of belonging. Many immigrants leave their home countries with the hope of building a better life abroad, only to find that the sacrifices outweigh the gains. Returning home allows them to reconnect with their roots, contribute to their communities, and rebuild their lives on familiar ground. In some cases, immigrants are drawn to other countries where their families have already settled. Moving to be closer to loved ones creates a sense of stability and support that's hard to find elsewhere. At its core, this decision is about prioritizing relationships and emotional well-being. For many immigrants, leaving England is less about escaping challenges and more about choosing love, connection, and community. So why are immigrants leaving England in record numbers? The reasons are as varied as the individuals themselves. From the crushing cost of living and rising inflation to the challenges of healthcare, employment, and social integration, life in England has become increasingly difficult for many. Add in the effects of the pandemic, the political climate, and the pull of family ties, and it's clear why so many are choosing to move on. But this isn't just a story of hardship, it's also a story of resilience and hope. Immigrants are finding new beginnings, whether it's in their home countries or in nations like Portugal, Germany, and Canada, where opportunities feel more attainable. Their journeys are a testament to the human spirit's ability to adapt and persevere. And as promised, here's your bonus: an unexpected destination that's gaining popularity among immigrants. Eastern European countries like Poland and Hungary are emerging as surprising havens. With affordable living costs, growing job markets, and supportive policies, these countries are proving that opportunity can be found in the most unexpected places. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our next one: Why Living in Canada Has Become Impossible, Poverty, Homelessness, and Skyrocketing Rents. Until next time, stay curious and stay informed.